Welcome to half double crochet. Let's crochet together. Today we want to crochet a Sophie's hood. I saw this all over social media, but I could only find knitting patterns and I wanted to crochet it, and so I thought let's just do it together. My Sophie's hood consists of two halves that I crocheted and then sewed together, and the pattern really worked out perfectly. So let's start. You'll need 220 grams of yarn, and this yarn is called Kind Feather from Hobby, and it's for the hook size 5.5 millimeters. So then of course I took my 5.5 millimeter hook and I started with a slip knot. And then we need to chain, and we do that by yarning over and pulling through. This is a chain. And we'll do that until our chain is 22 centimeters long. So when you have the 22 centimeters, you add 2 more chains. And then we will start with our half double crochets. We'll do our first half double crochet into the third chain from the top, but not in the front. We will do them into these back loops. So you simply yarn over, insert your hook into the third back loop from the top. Grab your yarn, pull through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and this is your first half double crochet. Then again yarn over, insert your hook into the next back loop. Grab your yarn, pull through. Now you have the 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. We will now continue with the half double crochets into each back loop until you reach the end of the chain. And this is your first row. From now on, we want to increase on one side of our crochet piece, and I will mark this side with a stitch marker. So whenever we crochet from the stitch marker away or we crochet towards the stitch marker, we want to increase. So we do that by doing 2 chains, then we can turn our work, and because we're on the side where the stitch marker is, we will start with an increase. So here into the last half double crochet of the former row, we will do 1 half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then you yarn over and insert your hook into the same stitch, and you'll do a second half double crochet. And this is our increase. And then you just continue with half double crochets into each stitch until you reach the end of your row. When you've reached the end of the row, because now we are on the side where there is no stitch marker, we will simply chain 2. Then turn our work, and then we will simply do a half double crochet into each stitch of the former row without any increases. So now we have crocheted towards the stitch marker, and here we also want to increase. We do that by simply crocheting a half double crochet into the last stitch and then yarning over and inserting the hook into the same stitch again, and we'll do a second half double crochet. So whenever we crochet away from the stitch marker or we crochet towards the stitch marker, we increase into 1 stitch. So now I will chain 2, turn my work, and again, because I'm on the side where the stitch marker is, I start with an increase. So here into the last half double crochet of the former row, I will increase by doing 2 half double crochets. And we will continue with this pattern until our crochet piece is 30 centimeters wide. And this is how it looks like. I've increased only on one side and the other side is straight. So now my crochet piece is 30 centimeters wide. We started with 22 centimeters and it is 11 centimeters long. And now we will continue with half double crochets but without any increases. So we will simply chain 2, turn our work, and we'll do a half double crochet into each stitch of the former row without increasing. Also here, when you've reached the end of the row, you will not increase, you will simply do a half double crochet and then chain 2 and turn your work and continue with the half double crochets. And we will crochet our rows until our crochet piece is 30 centimeters long. So now this is how that looks like. We here have 30 centimeters from the top. So it's 30 centimeters long and then here also 30 centimeters wide. And now we want to decrease. And we'll do that by repeating 3 rows, A, B, and C. Row A starts with a decrease and then we crochet to the other side. Row B also starts with a decrease and then we crochet to the other side. And row C has no decrease. We just do the half double crochets until the end of the row. And then we start again with row A, which has a decrease in the beginning, row B, which has a decrease in the beginning, and row C, which has no decrease. So we'll start with row A. We'll chain 2 and then turn our work. And row A starts with a decrease. So we yarn over, insert the hook into the last half double crochet of the former row, grab the yarn and pull through, yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, grab your yarn and pull through. Now you have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, and this is a decrease. And from now on, you just continue with the half double crochets into each stitch of the former row until you reach the end of your row. So row A only has a decrease in the beginning. We will use a stitch marker for row A, so we always know where row A is and we don't get confused with our rows. So this was row A with the decrease in the beginning. Now I'll chain 2 and turn my work and then I can continue with row B. Row B also starts with a decrease. So again, I yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, the last half double crochet of the former row, grab my yarn, pull through, yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, grab my yarn, pull through. Now I have the 5 loops, yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. And after the decrease, I can continue with the half double crochets into each stitch until I reach the end of the row. So this was row 8 with a decrease in the beginning. Then here row B, where I also started with a decrease. And then comes row C. I already did my chain 2 and row C has no decrease. So I can simply do half double crochets into each stitch with no decrease until I reach the end of the row. So let's have a look at it again. We started with row A, which had a decrease in the beginning. Then here row B also had a decrease in the beginning. And then row C had no decrease. And here I would start again with row A. So we will start with a decrease in the beginning. And I will always mark row A with a stitch marker. So I always know where my current row A is. So here I'm doing the decrease, and then I will simply continue with half double crochets. And we will continue with A, B, and C until our crochet piece is 10 centimeters wide. And this is how that looks like. So now the crochet piece is 70 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide. For the next 20 centimeters length, we don't want any decreases. So now we'll simply chain 2, turn our work. We will do no decreases. We will simply do half double crochets into each stitch until this part becomes 20 centimeters long. I will use a stitch marker so that I know when I've reached the 20 centimeters. So for the next 20 centimeters, do not do any decreases. And this is how that looks like. So for this part, which is 20 centimeters long, we did no decreases. We simply did the half double crochets for each stitch until we reach the 20 centimeters. Now we will start again with our A, B, and C rows. So again, I chain 2, I turn my work, and I start with row A. So I'll do a decrease. And then continue with the half double crochets until the end of the row. Let's use a stitch marker to mark row A so that we don't get confused with our rows. So this was row A, then we chain 2, turn our work, and we will continue with row B, which also has a decrease in the beginning. And then we continue with the half double crochets into each stitch. So we have row A and row B, and now comes row C without any decreases. And now we will repeat row A, B, and C until there are only 2 stitches left. And then all we need to do is a finishing knot, and then one side of our Sophie's hood is finished. But this was just one half of our Sophie's hood. We have to repeat the whole thing until we have the 2 sides. So now that we have 2, all we need to do is put them on top of each other. And I already put a stitch marker in. And the stitch marker is at the 30 centimeter mark from the top. From this corner, it's only 20 centimeters. And this is the point where we will start to sew the two parts together. So we'll start here, sew up and then over here and then to the end of the row. We start with a slip knot, and then you start where the stitch marker is by simply inserting the hook in one side and then into the other side. Grab your yarn and pull through. And then also here, and this is a slip stitch. And then again, insert your hook into one side of your Sophie's hood and then into the other side. Grab your yarn and pull through. And we continue with the slip stitches until we've sewed the two parts together all the way till the end. When you've reached the end, all you need to do is a finishing knot and then you're done. So let's try it on. You simply put the hood part on your head and wrap the scarf part around your neck, and then you can knot the two parts together in the front. And it turned out perfectly. And I hope you have fun with your Sophie's hood.